as we wait for Pastor Carlos to connect with us, just want to let everyone know, man, this is episode 61. Episode 61. I know for those who's been with us all these weeks, it's been quite a journey. Just want to know what you guys think. Feel free to send a DM. Feel free to send an email. Feel free to just connect with us, just to let us know how it's been. How has your journey been, right? We all have our process. We all have our journey. How has it been? If you feel comfortable with putting it on the live, feel free to join the live. If you want to go ahead and keep it anonymous, you can always drop it on the bottom right corner. You're going to see the bubble with the question mark. Go ahead and drop the question or statement, and we'll read it out loud. Or if it's a question that you need an answer for, we'll be able to answer it to the best of our knowledge. But definitely work towards connecting with us. We're really curious to know about how this platform has been really helpful. Like, how has your life been overall? And if there's something that you want to go ahead and discuss, like something you want to bring up and you feel comfortable with putting your testimony out, or, asking that question on the live, feel free to connect. Feel free to connect. We're here to have that conversation. If you want to add on to the topic, the message that we have for the day, feel free to connect. Like, listen, you have this platform. This platform is for you. And remember, this platform is made up of so many conditions, situations. It's made up of so much. Just think about it. Depression, anxiety, anything that you're going through, anything that you've been through. This is what this platform is all about. And aside from that, it's all about putting your story out, putting your testimony, putting those messages for the next person to receive. That person that can relate, that person that might need help, to find a way out, to heal, to treat them, to cure them, for whatever it is that they're going through. It's very important for us to think about others, right, as we go, because we're living in interesting times. We all go through it. At the end of the day, we have to accept it, and we have to be there for one another. No matter what, we got to be there for one another. Okay, we got Pastor Carlos on. A lot going on in our lives, and we have to be able to support each other, right? We are each other's fuel. What we receive from each other is either going to make us or break us. Always keep that in mind. Situations that we go through will either make us or break us. Big bro, what's going on, man? Good. How you feeling?
Much, little bro. How are you doing?
Fix the camera.
Feeling good, bro.
Man. I'm glad to hear
Feeling
that.
Good. Let me make sure our folks. Yep, we're good on YouTube and
Facebook. Once again, I want to welcome
everyone.
Everyone that's watching us on Facebook, all who's watching on YouTube, Instagram, of course. Really appreciate you all for taking the time to watch us on a Thursday night. You can be doing so much more, but for the simple fact that you're taking time out to be a part of our platform, to listen to what we have to say, it really means a lot. But most importantly, it's not about what we're saying. It's making sure that you receive what we express, receive what we put out. Once again, it's our purpose. It's what we're here for. It's a true blessing to be able to give you that good message. It's really a true blessing. And like I mentioned before, when I got connected, no matter what we got going on in life, nothing is going to stop us from putting out an episode. Nothing is going to stop us, right? Things happen, of course, but it's happened in the past. And I've been super grateful and thankful for Pastor Carlos, taking over that day that I had to miss out, or vice versa. We're here for you guys, like, for real. Once again, we're living in interesting times. We are here for you. Believe it or not, we're here for you. I know it's hard for you to, what's the catch? Why are you guys doing this? But then you also have others who are, I'm super grateful for what you're doing. Like, it's really helpful. It's been helping me. I've seen so many blessings throughout the week. Today was just like crazy, but then I just overcome these battles. It's been endless, the things that have been happening, not only to you, but to us as well, right? Life ain't perfect. No one is exempt. No matter how successful you are, no one is exempt from going through it. And you can be at the tippy top right? Or at least you think you're at the tippy top, and you feel like you will never find yourself at the bottom. And best believe you will find yourself at one point. This is why you always have to treat others with respect, treat others with love. Uh, the same treatment you want from others is what you have to give, right? It's plain and simple. It's plain and simple. Our platform is all about giving you that push, that motivation, that injection, like that motivation just to keep you going. Uh, that injection of patience and faith, which is what you need in all areas of your life, whether it's love, career, whatever it is. We're here to keep you sane. And believe it or not, this platform even helps us, the creators, because it keeps us sane. It keeps us on point. It keeps showing us how much people need of what we give, right? And I've mentioned this briefly in multiple lives. There's reasons why we go through situations. It's not only for us to overcome, just to break through, but it's to help the next person break through, right? It's a chain reaction. Whatever you go through, would you want to see another person go through it? No, right? They're going to go through it regardless, or something similar, or something totally different. But there's always going to be someone that's going to shed the light. Is going to show them, listen, this is not your final destination. This is not where you're going to be forever. So don't focus on your situation. Focus on what's ahead of you, right? You always need someone to help you snap out of it. Because I've been in many situations where I felt like, oh man, it's not that I didn't have the people to talk to, because I always had the people that I could talk to, but I was just too afraid, or I was ashamed, or I was just afraid to reach out. And best believe, man, you have the people right by you. You have them in your contacts, but it's just that you're staying connected with the wrong people. You are bringing the wrong people into the next stage of your life. Why? Because you're so used to those hangouts. You're so used to the same conversations that aren't going to take you anywhere. You're focused on the wrong things that only bring pleasure, but not really elevation, right? Because not everything that pleases you is going to elevate you. Not everything that does right by you, like what makes you feel good, won't elevate you. So you have to really focus on what it is that you want. Where are you today? How are you feeling today? How am I supposed to help myself feel better? How can I get through this condition? How can I overcome this battle that I'm facing right now? How can I change my surroundings? What is it that I'm doing wrong that's causing me to be this way, or feel this way, or think this way? What is it that I'm doing that's not helping me in no way, shape, or form? You have to ask yourself these things. It's your life, and you have one life. You have one life. You have one life. Now think about it. If you have that one life, do you think you want to be miserable for the rest of your life? Do you want to be depressed for the rest of your life? Do you want to be experiencing anxiety attacks, panic attacks? Do you want to deal with stress? Aren't you tired of obstacles? Obstacles are always going to come your way. But aren't you tired of just giving in, giving up, letting that obstacle hold you down, letting those people disrespect you? Aren't you tired of experiencing abuse of any kind? Aren't you tired of it? But what are you doing about it? What is it that you're doing about it to change your situation? What is it that you're doing to change your perspective? What are you doing to change your mindset? What are you doing to eliminate habits, to build new habits? What are you doing for growth, for personal development? What are you doing for yourself in general? Are you just letting things be? Or are you actually doing something? You're not going to have it all figured out. You're not always going to have the right answers. In fact, you may not even have an answer till you actually go through that situation. You'll receive your answer right after. That answer is going to be a lesson. That lesson is going to lead you to the results. Sometimes you're just afraid to take that step. Sometimes you're afraid to make that decision because you don't know what you're going to receive. Think about how many situations you've been in, and to this day, you don't even know the outcome because you were too afraid to take that step or make that decision. You, you only know from the chances you took. But think about the chances that you haven't taken, that you probably missed out on the lesson, on the blessing. No matter if it's good or bad, there's a lesson after all. All you're doing is building character, gaining experience, shifting, transforming as you go. That's what you're really doing. But what if you don't give yourself that chance? You're running in place. You're stunned. Your blessings are delayed. You're unable to see the new version of you, unable to see what the next season is like because you fail to make the next move. So what are you guys doing now when it comes to your life, that one life that you have? What are you doing about it when you wake up and you don't feel like doing anything because of how overwhelmed you are or the mental prison that you've stepped into and choose to stay there? Because it just makes it easier to dwell. It makes it easier to blame others. It makes it easier to lay down in bed and not do anything. It's much harder to get up and go. And I get it. You know, there's a lot of factors. You're not the only one. I'm sure there's probably that phone call, that text message, that partner that shuts your dreams or any ideas. I get it. But that's unacceptable, right? Things are going to happen, but you can't put the blame on the other person for you not stepping out and making a decision, making that move. You can't blame the next person. You can't do that. So what are you doing with your life? Right? Is it the disrespect? Are you going through abuse and letting it happen over and over because that's what you're used to? That's who you're used to. That's all you know, and you're just afraid that if you end it there, then the next person's going to be the same, or it's going to be worse, or you're going to be lonely. You start building all these scenarios. Same thing with your job. Are you happy at your job? If you are, great, congratulations. But if you're not, are you afraid to look for something else because you are afraid of starting all over? Are you afraid of meeting new people? Are you so used to the workplace that you're in, that comfort zone? Because some people are way too comfortable at their job, but they're super uncomfortable with the finance. So there's always something that's going to leave you in the place that you're in right now, whether it's mentally, emotionally, financially. There's always something that's holding you back. But that thing that's holding you back is causing you blindness. You don't see what's on the other side because you just want to see what you've been used to, right? What are you doing to change your life? I have a question for everyone. This way we can get this. We got started with this episode a long time ago, but with the topic itself. Have you been accepting all along? Or have you been leading? I want to let that sink in. Think about your life. Have you been accepting? Or have you been leading? Just think about all that's been happening, all that you've went through, everything that you're going through now, possibly. We all know that who you are today is based on your past experiences, right? Past knowledge, past beliefs. Look back at your life and look at your life today and ask yourself, what's been happening all along? What have you been doing all along? Where do you see yourself heading? so far with all that's happened or all that you're going through, where do you see yourself in the next 3, 5, 6 years, 10 years? Where is it that you see yourself? And not only physically, not only physically. I'm also talking mentally. I'm also talking mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Where is it that you see yourself? Are you leading your life? Or are you just accepting your life? That's the question. Are you leading your life or are you just accepting your life? For anyone out there who are unaware, or sometimes we are unaware of you accepting the things that you've been receiving, I don't know what you're going through, abuse, the stress, the overload, how overwhelmed you are, depression. What's the cause of it? Is it because you're just accepting or because you fail to lead your life? It's time to change 360. I don't know who's going through abuse out there, but it needs to stop. I don't know who's going through it in general, unhappiness, misery, but that needs to change. So we have to stop accepting the life that we have for those who are not happy with their life right now. And it's time to start working towards change, changing your life, changing the way you think, changing the way you see yourself, the way you see others, the way you treat yourself, the way you might treat others. It's time to really face yourself, like really face yourself, face your fears, seek the truth. What is it that you have to do to improve your situation? What is it that you have to do to improve overall, to be a better human being, to get past that condition? What is it that you need to do to start healing, recovering? I'm just trying to cover all areas because I know we've all been through it. But for those who are unhappy, this is not the end. This is definitely not the end. In fact, there's a new beginning waiting on you tomorrow. But it all starts with you. It all starts with you. So what are you willing to do to change your situation around, to change your life around? What is it that you have to stay away from in order for you to accomplish this? What is it that you have to stay away from, once again, in order for you to accomplish this? What is it that you have to start doing? What habits do you have to destroy, eliminate, exchange for better habits or new habits? Because we're not going to know good and bad in the moment at times. We'll realize it a few hours later, a few days later, weeks, months, a year later. But are you leading your life or are you just accepting? Big bro, I'll hand it over to you.
No, I think excellent, little bro, excellent. And as you were going through, the start of this program, man, tonight, really there were two things that really came to mind. And it's funny because just today, again, we actually haven't gotten a chance to talk in a couple of days, really. And we know, like we mentioned, week after week, we don't ever get a chance to connect,
Exactly.
to ever discuss the topics. We never do that because we want to be led, by the Holy Spirit in terms of whatever it is that he wants to go ahead and say, right? And just today, I was talking to somebody and I mentioned to them, right, like they gave me a testimony of something that they had happened where, like, all of a sudden, they were able to get you know, a lot of what you call it, they were going to be blessed greatly with, you know, with a lot of what they were expecting for, in terms of, let's just call them clients, right? In order to be, of course, financially, you know, receive financially, right? Be blessed financially. And I mentioned to this person, I go, listen, this is crazy, because I gave her a few examples, and I go, you're just one of many examples that I'm seeing of people that are receiving, and they're receiving greatly right now, you know. And I gave her the names of some of certain people, you know, some that are known on YouTube and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, you've got one person that received $1 million check, you know, for their church, I think like twice, if I'm understanding correctly. I know one, but I think she mentioned it actually happened twice. Then there was like another one, a Christian rapper that I've connected with, who last time I saw him, he mentioned to me like, hey, you know, I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, hey, Pastor Carlos, you know, no, man, everything's good. I want to let you know I got blessed with a house. You know, I'm moving into my new house. I'm like, oh, word, where's it at? And he mentioned the neighborhood, and I'm like, I stayed like shocked, like, yo, like that's a neighborhood where you normally like hear, you know, wealthy people are at. So that kind of shocked me a little bit, you know. But to God be, you know, to God be the glory. Somebody that you know, has a YouTube channel, very well known YouTube channel online. I heard them give a testimony, and this is somebody that tries to be very obedient with what the Lord gives them. And he had gone and was like this close to launching a GoFundMe, because he needed a new studio for the YouTube work that he's doing, and needed $30,000 to essentially, you know, get that studio up and running, get everything going, you know, get the location, get the new setup and everything. And just as he was like, he was been holding off. And finally, when he goes ahead and gets, you know, it gets like, you know, the what he believes to be, you know, the confidence to go on YouTube, excuse me, to go on GoFundMe. He was like this close to going ahead and posting it. All of a sudden, he gets a communication from somebody who tells him, hey, God put it in my heart to go ahead and give you something. And the amount was like $5,000 more than what it was going to cost to do that studio. So about $35,000. And he's like, this person didn't know what we were about to do. They just, you know, I'm sure they probably heard that we were looking to do a studio, but I haven't talked about numbers or anything like that. And sure enough, the amount that they gave not only covered what needed to be done in the studio, what he anticipated, but you know how it goes, little bro. And many of you that are connected right now probably know, when you start a project, especially when you're talking about maybe doing a project in your house, your apartment, or just anything that, you know, requires finances, right? A lot of times you give the estimate, but your estimate's still off. Your estimate's off usually by a decent little amount that you didn't expect, right? And he's like, man, good thing that they gave that amount, because I was going to ask for this on the GoFundMe. And, you know, once you reach that goal, that was going to be it. You know, that's all I was going to take. And it turns out that the Lord had given this person exactly what they needed. No, not just what they asked for, but exactly what they needed to get everything covered. And now this dude's got like a ridiculous YouTube studio set up, you know, and you can see the difference in the quality. It's amazing. And I told this person, I'm like, you know what it is? And I preached it to our youth last night. There are people right now, those that have been obedient. I don't know how many of y'all have been rocking with us, at least for the last few weeks. But little bro, I think it was in January, hopefully you remember, I said, the Lord was showing me that there is a new wind. Like there's a change happening. When you have the wind, there's like a change in that direction and everything like that. And it was going to be to the point where it was like, he was showing me, it wasn't just a new wind that was blowing, but it was like that was picking up, you know, it was picking up steam, right? And it was almost going to be like hurricane force kind of winds that were coming in. And those of you that have ever been in a hurricane know that that's no joke, you know? And with that, it's like those that are being obedient in what God is calling them to do are starting to reap the benefits. They're starting to see the turnaround. They're starting to see these things that it's like, man, this is really the unexpected. I didn't expect this, right? So why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this for two reasons. Little bro, as you were speaking, the very first thing that I remembered was a verse that I believe I've gone ahead and read to people here before, which is seek first the kingdom and everything's going to be added, right? So you seek first what the Lord wants to do. You seek first the Lord. You seek that relationship with the Lord. He goes and he adds everything else. Now I want to go ahead and show you guys something that the Lord says. And this he's speaking to his people, which these are his chosen people. We're his chosen people as well if we go ahead and we obey him, because there's a reason why he redeemed us. He redeemed not just those that were Jews, but he went for the Jews and the Gentiles as well, which, we're included in all of that. And he says in his word, now it shall come to pass that if you diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments, which I command you today, that the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. And these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, because you obey the voice of the Lord your God. So understand this, that what I'm reading to you guys right now is telling you, like, in that obedience, right? He's letting you know, if you're obedient, which in other words, if you're seeking me first, if you're seeing what if you're trying to put me first, if you're trying to, seek me first, I promise that I'm going to add everything else. And this is all encompassing here, because he says, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to set you high above the nations in the earth. I'm going to give blessings that don't just come upon you, but they're going to overtake you. So imagine I imagine something, little bro, like, that you're going to be so overly blessed. And I'm not just talking about finances, but it just reminds me of, like, you remember that old cartoon, DuckTales? Like Scrooge McDuck, where he was so overly abundant with with his wealth, as an example, right? That it was like, he could dive into the, you remember in the opening credits, he would dive into the coins. It was like all that money was like overflowing. Like he could be in the depths of the coins, it was wild. And it was like, again, not talking just about finances, but it's like the amount of blessings that you're going to receive are so overly abundant that it's not just upon you, but it overtakes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that is amazing. And it's why? Because you obey the Lord, right? And it tells you, the word says, blessed shall you be in the city, blessed shall you be in the country. So here we have contrast, right? You're going to be blessed over here. You're going to be blessed over there. The fruit of your body is going to be blessed, the produce that you have. So whatever you're aiming to try and produce, that's going to be blessed, right? Go a little bit forward. You're going to be blessed when you go in. You're going to be blessed when you go out. So in everything that you're doing, essentially, you're going to be blessed. And again, if anybody wants to read that, that's Deuteronomy 28. But where it went ahead and really called to me, the reminder, right? I'm going to read it to you right here. Was the Lord's going to make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only, and you shall not be beneath. Here's what's up with that. If you are the head and not the tail, that means you lead. You're the leader in this. So exactly what you were talking about. Are you leading? Because if you're not leading, then what are you doing? Right? Because I'm going to tell you, the reason that we're starting to see those that are being obedient being blessed is because it is hard to lead. It is hard to be obedient and say, hold up. These are the things that I'm identifying that are wrong. And I need to, stop doing what everybody else is doing, because that's not working. Let's be honest. Yesterday I asked our youth, how many of y'all have, feel like you've got a great situation at home? How many of y'all feel that you got a great situation at school? How many of y'all just feel like great about life, like in general? Bro, not one person raised their hand. So if we're in the business of asking questions, and we're asking questions right here as well, how many of y'all are connected right now because you're like, life is going absolutely fantastic in every area of my life, and I'm just so thrilled and so happy with how everything's going. Work is going great. My relationships are going great. My relationships with my kids are going great. My friendships are going great. My money is right. Everything's good. I cannot complain. Everything is just so amazing, right? Like, I just see the abundant blessings of God in absolutely every area of my life. I can guarantee you not one of you would raise your hand. But now I go to the opposite, or now I compound that. I compound that question with, if you're not able to say that, like, yo, all these things, like, I can see the joy of the Lord. Again, that doesn't mean that you're not going to encounter difficulty. That doesn't mean that you're not going to struggle with certain things. I'm not telling you that that's not going to happen, because it is going to happen, right? But the question is, do the situations in your life steal your joy? Or are you joyful in all the situations? And that's the thing. I think most people, if we were being real with everybody that's here right now, you'd probably say, no, there's at least a few situations in my life that are robbing your joy. And let me tell you, if there are situations in your life that are stealing your joy, that's exactly where the enemy is trying to attack you. Because if you're like, oh, all these things are going on with my finances, but I'm still joyful. Oh, these things are going on with my health, with my health, I'm still joyful. Oh, these things are going on at work, and I'm still joyful. But man, you know what? These issues that I got with my kids, this is not bringing me joy. Guess where the enemy is going to go ahead and attack you? The weakest spot. He's going to attack you at your kids. You see what I'm saying? Or if everything was good, but it was your finances, where do you think he's going to try to hit you the hardest? With your finances. The enemy is going to try to hit you where he can disrupt you, where he can cause you to hopefully at least pause and be like, I don't know what to do. I don't feel like doing anything. Believe me, what he would prefer the most is for you to fall back as far as possible. And hopefully stop relying on the Lord and just fall back and rely on the lies that he gives you to build you up, right? Which is always going to lead to your destruction. But at the very minimum, if he can't get you to fall all the way back, at least get you to stop, even for a little bit. Even if it's like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed this morning or for the next 3 days because I'm so depressed and I'm so tired and I'm so anxious and I can't sleep, because even in my sleep, I'm thinking about stuff and everything like that. That's what he wants, right? It's the honest to God truth. But it takes something extra. It takes sacrifice. It takes possibly looking dumb and foolish. Because if things explode in your face, it's like, if the things that you're trying to aim for don't happen, if you're not being blessed, people will look at you weird and make comments. Believe me, I've seen it, right? Do you have enough faith to be like, I know what I got to do? I know that I haven't been seeking the Lord and his kingdom first, seeing what he wants me to do, not what I want to do, not the job that I want, not the relationship that I want. Again, this is not a license for those of y'all that are married to just go try and find somebody else and use that as an excuse. That's not what I'm talking about. But to be able to say, I'm not filling, checking off these boxes where I can say, this area of my life, I'm putting the Lord first. This area of my life, I want to see what he wants to do. This area over here, what do you want me to do? Let me go through every single area and at least be like, what do you want me to do? Instead of trying to do it all yourself. And I promise you, if you're like, you know what, I'm not really putting him first, now we go into questions. It's like, this is where we kind of go into steps, right? If we say, how's everything going? And you're like, well, not everything's going great. Things are stealing my joy. And then we go into, yo, are you trying to seek the Lord first in everything? And you're like, no. Then we get to the very next question. If you're not, and you know that you need to, no matter what, you need to, right? Why? And I guarantee you the answers that you're going to come across are going to sound a little something like this. I can do it myself. That's pride. Okay. Why would he want to bless me? I've done so much wrong. That's not understanding why he sacrificed himself. It's not about you. He's asking actually very little of you when you think about it, right? Or it could very simply be something along the lines of, if I do what he's asking me to do, what if he doesn't come through? And right there, it's a question of faith. Because you're right. What happens if he tells you to do something that would affect your, your work situation, right? Let's just say he tells you leave that job, and you're like, yo, but this job is paying me 90K a year, 100K a year, 50K a year, whatever is good money to you, right? What if he tells you got to leave that job? Your what if becomes very interesting, because now you say, but I've got this car that I bought, this apartment or this house. I've got this lifestyle I got to keep up. I got my kids in a certain kind of school. I mean, we could go down a list, right? And your what if could be, what happens if he doesn't come through? Because now what am I going to do? Go back to the job? They probably aren't going to take me. And chances are you might be in a job that was a hookup, or that you probably weren't qualified for to begin with, at least not at that salary. And so your what if becomes, if he doesn't come through, how am I going to get back to that level? Because right now, me leaving looks foolish. Are you trusting what he has to say? Or maybe you're in a relationship and the Lord is like, yo, first and foremost, you know that you shouldn't be in this relationship. And second, you're not doing anything in this relationship that pleases me. You're not putting me in the middle of this relationship, whatever it is that he's telling you. And you're like, but I've invested so much time into this. Like, how's this going to look if I do that? We know somebody, we have a family member, she was engaged. And you think it was easy for her to be like, no, this is not who the Lord has for me. I mean, I'm sure to some degree, people will be like, yo, you tripping, But it is what it is. And thankfully, I mean, the Lord's continued to bless that person. Maybe not yet in a relationship, in so many other areas of her life, though, It's not easy to be like, whatever you want to do, I'm going to go there. But that obedience is leadership right now, especially in this season where so many people are followers. And if you don't believe that they're followers, most popular social media app right now is Instagram. It's like one of the top. What are the people that, are your friends on there called? They're called followers. That's what they're called. Right now, we're in a world where everybody follows. It's the life right now. But the Lord is blessing those that want to lead. So I know that there's some of you that like have been feeling for a while, like, I know that God is calling me to do something different. But that's the thing. Look at how blessed he makes you when you decide to be obedient, when he makes you a leader, when you're the head and not the tail in all of this. We need to have a change, because right now a lot of us are struggling unnecessarily, and we can very easily allow God to change that situation. Now, God changing that situation, I want to add one more thing, little bro, before I pass it over to you, because I believe that this is very important for y'all to understand. The situation changing, God doing something with your situation, you being like, okay, I want to do what the Lord wants me to do, does not mean, oh, he wants me to do something different, so I'm just going to sit and do absolutely nothing and use that as an excuse to not try to move forward. Because most of the time, don't get me wrong, God could be like, I'm having you leave this job because I'm supernaturally going to have somebody else contact you and give you this job, or I'm going to supply for you financially, or whatever it is that you have, in your mind, right? He can go ahead and do that. But in most cases, he's going to have you act on something. You have to action, because it's not, the action in and of itself, that action is showing that you are trusting that where he's telling you to go, what he's telling you to do, that he's going to instruct you on what to do, and he's going to supply for you along the way. But there's a lot of people as well that will take this today as, I can just sit down and do nothing. So I'm going to just drop everything, and I'm going to sit down and do nothing, and I'm going to be lazy and just relax. If the Lord is telling you to have a seat and relax and rest, go and do that. But if not, he will be asking you to take a step in faith and go and do something that he's calling you to do. Be prepared to act as well. Because just sitting there in your loneliness or whatever and doing nothing will not get you anywhere either. But ask him what he wants you to do. Not just magic genie, oh, you're telling me to leave my job, so what are you going to do? I'm going to expect this money to roll in right now. The lottery is like the lottery going to hit. He's not the genie from Aladdin, people. That's not how he rolls. You don't get 3 wishes and all of a sudden it's like, I blessed you, now I'm going to go. That ain't it. But seek him first and be obedient in that. You're going to have, all of us do, you're going to have times where you stumble. That's normal. We're not perfect. We're far from perfect. We will never be perfect. But again, he looks at the heart. So we need to give that, to really give that change a try. Because if we're honest with ourselves, what we've been doing thus far is not working out. And again, it doesn't mean that you're going to do it in the perfect time that you think is the perfect time, right? You do it when he asks you to do it. We have seen that. Again, we're doing this not because we had everything set up, the perfect studio and everything that we were looking to do. But we were obedient when he said, I need you to start now. And that's in a lot of different things that we'll share with you guys here within the next 4 weeks. But we trust him in what he says. And to this point, he has not failed us. Doesn't mean that difficulty hasn't come. Doesn't mean the enemy hasn't risen up, throwing a temper tantrum. But he can take his temper tantrum. We'll handle that. We do. God's got our back on that. And we believe that if we're entering into the season where obedient people are starting to be blessed, we know ours is coming. And we're giving you guys this message right now because you can be in that group. And my thing is, I want as many people in that group as possible. Makes life easier for everybody. And more importantly, more than anything else, it allows his glory to be seen, which is what I want to see. For people to start flooding the comments below of like, Yo, I was blessed this way. Yo, I was blessed that way. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect this, but this happened. That's what I want to start seeing. And when you look at it, who receives the blessings here on earth for that? Who gets, who reaps the benefits? You do. I want to see y'all reaping the benefits. Legit. Hopefully we can. I'll leave that with you, little bro.
That's major. That's major. Extremely major. And that's something that I want everyone to understand. I want to put a testimony out after everything you said, all the way from how we started this episode today and how far it's been going, how deep we're digging with this topic. There's a lot of things that we won't notice at the moment, right? There's going to be things that we do that seems right, because of how we're feeling in that moment or how that season is going. Wow, this season is great. This season can be great in one way, but it can be setting yourself up for destruction in many other ways. What I would want to say is I can put a testimony out when it comes to this because I started realizing, I went through a major event a few years ago, extremely major. It was very critical, and to me, the fix was, you know what, I have to focus on me. I got to go ahead and do things different, which was great, right? When you make those changes, that's good. But when you let time take up, when you let these tasks take up most of your time, after a while, you start realizing, wait, this is not so much because of the routine, but I'm actually doing a little too much right now. Let's just say an example. I'm just working, grinding, hustling, right? Just grinding heavy, trying to make it happen out here. I'm trying to change my situation. I'm trying to do so many things. I want to go ahead and break generational curses. I want to change my whole situation around. But I'm realizing, looking back, I've been working nonstop. Don't get me wrong. I had a nice vacation, right, for about 20 days, completely disconnected. That was good. But there's 365 days in a year. 20 days of rest is not enough, right? And then if you want to throw in another 10 to 15 days that maybe here and there, I was forced to take it easy or I decided to take it easy, whatever that is, let's just say it's 30 to 40 out of the 365. So now I'm overworking myself. So what I started realizing recently, like this is real talk, recently is I got to give more time to me, more time to my family. I have to make sure that I'm there. And even when I'm there, it's kind of draining because I do so much, but I got to get the rest that I need to be able to function, to be able to just attend to be able to assist, to be a part of a lot more activities than what it's been for the past year and a half. Sometimes we fall in that place where we're so focused on breaking generational curses or building generational wealth that we miss the moment. We're missing the moment. Of course, weeks and months pass. When I look back, I'm like, man, I've been overworking myself. I can actually take maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week to get stuff done around the house. And luckily, with the teamwork and stuff, we get a lot done. But there's a lot more that can be done, right? It's not only about organization and grind and hustle, right? It should be disconnection, like just disconnect, do something different, do something where you're not thinking of work, where you don't have that iPad in front of you, where you don't have to look at your emails or your phone. Do something that you completely disconnect to the point where you can give yourself time to heal in the areas that need to get healed, that you need to heal. And that's something that I've been realizing. So now, again, we learn as we go, right? We live and learn. So as long as we're learning, we're taking these experiences, right? We've already been in the situation, but we're trying to change it. We're working towards just changing it all around to the point where you can actually live life. Most of us are overworking ourselves because it keeps our mind occupied. I just want to start breaking it down now. It keeps our mind occupied. You know, uh, yeah, I know I can do 34, 36, 40 hours, but I'd rather do 60 because, one, I make more money, and two, there's a lot of stuff on my mind, and I just don't have any time for it, or I don't want to feel this way. Why not do your 34 hours and use the other 16 extra that you would give your job for you, which is going to be more beneficial for you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically? Because again, if you're not right in the mind or in your heart, then what else is going to be right in your life? You got to give yourself that time. Don't overwork yourself. Make sure you get those 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Make sure you take that nap throughout the day, which is something that I'm working on. If I can take a 30-minute to an hour nap, I've even been thinking about just ending my day earlier. Ending my day earlier and just waiting till the next day to do it all over. I'm an early bird. I wake up early every day. Between 4 and 6 o'clock, I'm up. Lately, I've been waking up at 6, and that's late for me. But I usually like 4 because I get to be ahead. I get to do a lot more. I feel like when I sleep till 6 in the morning, it feels to me like I wasted a whole day or the whole morning. But because I've been working towards changing things around, I've been making sure that I get the rest that I need, because I know when my body, when I feel a certain way, my body tells me, hey, you need the rest. Take it easy. You're doing a little too much. There's times when I'm lightheaded throughout the day. That's a sign. I know it's not hunger. It's not that. It's because I want to be in front of a screen. Or maybe I'm just like running up and down, but not giving myself that break. There's times that when I even have lunch or dinner or breakfast, I can't even enjoy it properly because I'm already thinking on what I got to take care of throughout the day, and I got to start now. If I don't start now, the money ain't going to be the same. If I don't start now, I'm going to be out later. If I don't start now, okay, but what if I can't start now? I should be super grateful that I'm able to start at whatever time. I should be extremely grateful. But again, we're living and learning. We're living and learning. We got to give ourselves the time. You know, for those out there who need to make that decision, do it. Don't even think twice. Maybe this is exactly what you needed to hear. Maybe this is exactly what you needed to hear. Maybe you don't have the right people around you to give you their testimony, to give you what their thoughts are. Sometimes you even got to be careful with the point of view of others, right? Or the advice that you receive from others, because you don't know if it's with good intent. You don't know, because they might hear a great idea that you have, or they might hear a major shift that you're about to make, and they're going to feel in danger because they don't want you to take that route. Whoa, this person's going to do so much better than me. No, 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 no. I can't accept this. I got to tell them the total opposite. You got to be extremely careful. This is why you got to really evaluate who you have in your contacts. Really evaluate who you've been talking to. Talking to someone about your problems, talking to someone about future advice. Listen, there's people going straight to the enemy for these things, and you don't even know it. They're disguised in great people. They're disguised in your bestie because they've been around for so many years. If they've been around for so many years, I need you guys to evaluate this. Think about this. Don't you have friends that are probably doing better than you right now? Where are you today? Are you at their level, or are they way past it? There's a reason why they haven't taken you or given you that opportunity. Maybe they want to keep you in that position. Maybe they want to keep you in that stage, because if they're really your friends and you've been friends for a very, very long time, Why aren't they taking you with them? So now this is when you have to say, hey, you're not going to start disconnecting yourself from people. Now, listen up, just listen carefully. This is when you really have to face yourself and say, why am I in this position, or why am I feeling this way? And why is this person where they are today, which we have to be extremely grateful for? But if I'm really their friend, why am I not there with them? It can be two things. I just mentioned one of them, but you can also be the problem. You might be setting them back. You might be putting their job or their level or position at risk. You got to question yourself. What is it? Sometimes you have to give yourself the time, not to compete with other people, but to give yourself time to elevate. You know what? It's all communication. Let me go ahead and disconnect. Hey, this person's my friend, but let me just let them know that I'm not going to be hitting up that lounge next week or for the next few weeks, which is all I'm trying to say. Let me just let them know that I'm not going to have time to just sit there and drink. I'm not going to have time to turn that hookah on. I know about hookah. I know about hookah. I know about those moments. I don't have time. Because if we're not going to discuss opportunity, discuss elevation, discuss growth, opportunity, then what are we doing? Let's put this on pause and we'll get right back. We'll get right back. I'm going to get back to the hanging out, but I need to fix myself up. I need to be right mentally. All you're doing when you're taking that sip of wine, that sip of that cocktail, all you're doing is delaying your healing, delaying your thoughts. You're not thinking straight. You're stunning your thoughts. It's going to stop there. It's going to stop there. How are you expecting to do something different the next day if you're hungover? How are you expecting to do anything different if you feel like you're going through cloudy thoughts or cloudy stage now? Confusion. It's very simple. You're not receiving the right information. You're not receiving the advice that you need to get you to that next level. You're really not receiving it. So you have to really think it through. If they're your friends, if they are really your friends, then why are you not there with them? And I'm not talking about them hooking you up with that job. Maybe they can hook you up with that job, or maybe they know of someone that can get you out of your job into another job. Is all I'm trying to say. Maybe they're afraid that you're going to be a lot more successful than them. But again, remember, your mindset is not to compete with anyone. I'm just throwing out what other people may be thinking. Maybe they're afraid that if you elevate, they can no longer use you because you're the one coming through to these gatherings. You're the one that's making it happen. While they pocket all the money, while they can use someone as a punching bag, because hey, maybe there's people out there that go through it at work and they have that one or a few people that they just use them as a punching bag. And that doesn't always mean physically. But why aren't you there? The same way with you, you have to look at yourself whenever you move into a different stage, a different level. You're going to notice not a lot of people are going to come with you. Start a business to see who's going to support it. Let's go straight to the point. Start a business to see who's going to support it. These people know you. They know you very well. But start a business to see what they're going to do. Are they going to support? Are they going to help you find ways to be successful? Are they going to search for information so you can start and get funding? Are they going to text you about a possibility like, hey, have you looked at this? Have you checked this out? Or are they going to continue to distract you into gatherings, continue to talk to you about senseless conversations, gossip, Nothing that
They won't even call you to save money on car
nothing
insurance
to
from Geico,
elevate.
bro.
It's all to set destruction. Who are you receiving texts from? Who are you receiving calls from? Where are these text messages taking you? Where are these phone calls taking you? Where are these conversations taking you? DJ G.I. Joe, the amount of people that dropped out of my life when I wasn't DJing for Immortal Technique was unreal. G.I. Joe, what's up, bro? Legend. When I mentioned in the past, this man is a legend. He's a legend. Check him out.
If I could piggyback off of something that you said, little bro, because you were like, because you said yourself, you know, you need to be careful. Why? Because like when you mentioned being careful, it was like it doesn't matter even if the people look real, like they're really nice, they're really good, like they're really close, whatever, and you're absolutely 100% on the money. I'm gonna read y'all something real quick. Again, going to the word with it. I like to back up exactly what you're saying with the word, bro. You know what I'm saying? The Apostle Paul writes, "But I will continue doing what I have always done. This will undercut those who are looking for an opportunity to boast that their work is just like ours," right? These people are false apostles. They are deceitful workers who disguise themselves as apostles of Christ. But I'm not surprised. And this is the kicker right here. This is where I want y'all to focus. Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. A lot of times y'all think that the people that are going to go against you, that the people that are going to try to hurt you, that the people that the enemy are going to use are going to be the people that are ugly, that are in your face, that you can see them and you're like, oh, no. I can't be messing with this person. No, not at all. A lot of times, and it's strategic, the person that the enemy will try to use to influence against what God wants to do in your life to hopefully make you, take the wrong choices in your life, make the wrong moves. They don't appear as something ugly. They appear as angels of light. In this case, we're talking about people that supposedly were out there probably preaching. I mean, you're looking at strong words, apostles, right? I mean, that's like, that shows like religiously, you got to have some clout. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that I were to say like, oh, this person is a pastor. Oh, this person is a prophet. Oh, immediately there's a level of elevation. There goes that word again. In a status that you're like, yo, this person is all good, right? But look at what it says right after that. It says, so it's no wonder that his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. So in other words, they look like they're trying to do what's right. They look like they're trying to do what's good. If the enemy is willing to do that with people that supposedly are all like in religion and all that stuff, that appear to be good, you don't think that he's trying to influence acquaintances of yours, friends of yours, right? I'm going to dare to say it, family members of yours, right? Yes. He'll use whoever he can use that's probably going to be the closest to you. Whatever he can get to resemble, yo, this is an angel of light. God's got to be talking through this person, right? You think God is talking through that person. You think God is trying to bless you through that person. Did you go and ask God to give you revelation if that's him speaking? Because the enemy's an imitator. That's what he does. He imitates. DJ G.I. Joe said right now, the amount of people that dropped out his life when he wasn't DJing for Immortal Technique was unreal. I guarantee you a lot of them looked like real positive people, real friends.
Take advantage.
Maybe real family. Why? Because and I feel that this is revelation that the Lord is giving me. So give me a second here. What the Lord is showing me, and it's not just in his case, but it's in the case of many of us, many of y'all that are connected today. You have had levels of success in your life, right? The same way that these angels of light, the same way that these people that are all about you, they have good for you. They want to see you succeed. They want to help to push you forward. They want all these things for your life. The enemy might just be putting them there so that they can go ahead and take and steal from what you're being
joy, your
blessed
time,
with.
your opportunity, everything.
Again, the Lord talked about like overflowing blessings, right? Like it not only is upon you, but it overtakes you, right? Imagine you got a bag that you're storing something in. Money, food, whatever it is. But somehow you got a hole in that bag. You can be storing all you want in there. Things are going to fall out. Things are going to fall out. So what that is, you go and you have people around you thinking like, oh man, this is a blessing. Never asking God if these are people that he wants around you, that these are people that he wants you to speak to, that these are people that he wants you to go and tell your plans to, that these are people that he has, you know, whatever you're being blessed with, he wants you to talk to them about it, right? You never stop and ask. You just make the assumption. Did you ever check that bag to see if it has a hole in it? It's the same thing. Because here you are, he's blessing, he's blessing, he's blessing. You're receiving, you're receiving, you're receiving. And there they are right down at the bottom of the bag, stealing from that hole that you got in their bag. The problem is, you have left the hole there. Your hole was in never asking if these people are for you. If these are people that God wants you to listen to, if these are people that God wants you to talk about things with, if these are people that God wants you to bless, I'm going to say it bluntly because I've been there. Are these people that the Lord wants you to bless? Because even you are under the delusion of, yo, I want to do the right thing. I want to help. Not asking, do you want me to help these people? Because believe me, if the enemy knows that you're never going to check with the Lord on it, the enemy is going to be like, let me see who I can send over there to ask for that handout, to ask to come eat with you, to ask to come hang with you, to give you an idea of something that you should spend on. Why? So that you could be a bad steward of what you've been blessed with. So that you can, maybe you haven't been blessed with it yet in terms of like something tangible that you can see, but you receive the idea. And instead of just executing on the idea, asking the Lord for the direction on the idea, somebody comes in the perfect opportunity, right? To hear what you have and see how they can twist what the Lord gave you that is going to be successful for you, that is going to turn things around. And you don't think about it because you're like, oh, this person wants to help me. All he wants to do is twist it just a little bit so that it will mess up. I don't know how with this, I'll pass it back to you, little bro. I don't know how many of y'all have ever seen like a movie or a TV show, maybe read a book, right? Where it's like, you know, the person gets this idea, they're about to execute the idea, they put it all together, they're ready to go, they're ready to be successful. And midway through the movie, midway through the book, midway through that episode of that TV show, whatever it is that you're watching, comes a person kind of like hidden, they kind of blend in with the crowd. Maybe like it was a machine that they built or a program that they made on the computer or something, right? And they go kind of sneaking, right? And they open up the machine and slightly put something in there that shouldn't be in there. Or, you know, the chef is making up some food, and here comes that one person who wants to mess them up. And it doesn't look like they want to mess them up, but they swap out an ingredient you don't realize. They do something minor, something really, really minor. It doesn't look like much, but that's enough to ruin the whole thing. And then the person that had the idea, the person that was making the things work, that was executing, comes back in the middle of that movie. And it's like, but I don't understand what happened. This was supposed to work. I tested it 20, 30, 40 times. It worked. What happened? I made this dish 50 times and it was delicious. But the one time that I came here to bring it to the person that was going to give me this big gig, this big job, whatever, all of a sudden it tastes like garbage. What happened? It's the same ingredients. It was the same stuff. But they never realized that one person came in and changed something really tiny, because they knew that they didn't have to destroy it. All they had to do was make a little twist, a little change. And in your life right now, and may God give you revelation on it. You need to be careful, because there are those looking like angels of light. They look like they're for you. So right now, y'all need to be asking God, who's around me that's not for me? Who's around me that I shouldn't be speaking?
And there are many
what you have
times that I'm sorry,
that I shouldn't.
We feel it and we want to go against it. That gut feeling, that, some people call it gut feelings. Other people call it the Holy Spirit. Whenever you feel something is off, something's not right, we've learned this the hard way. I'm sure many of us can agree to this. We've learned this the hard way. I've gone against it so many times in the past, and every single time, because I can't even remember one time that I went against it and it was the right decision. I went against what I was feeling, that gut feeling, Holy Spirit, and it just went south. It just went south.
Yep.
Because there's no way this person is going to do this to me. There's no way this person is saying this about me. There's no way this person is doing this to me. There's no way I am not going to get this gig or this job. There's so many times when I've failed that feeling that I got. And now, because Big Bro, with everything you were saying, I've questioned myself in the past, like, wait, so how am I supposed to determine and know if someone is doing right by me or they really have good intentions? And it's just, listen, you're going to know whenever the time is right, but just limit yourself. You have to limit the access that people have to your life, the access that they have to your personal life, the information that you hold. You have to limit these things, because you don't want to give someone an overview, right, of let's say, for example, you have an idea and you're about to implement, you're going to bring it to life. You got to be careful with who you discuss it, because let's say you discuss it with 6 people, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 that's going to look up to see if that idea is registered. Straight up. If it's a great idea, there's going to be 1 or 2 out of those 6 people that are going to look up to see if that is registered, right? Because I'm not trying to say to keep things to yourself, right? But there are certain things that you have to, until you make the right moves and it's safe for you to discuss with just anyone, to the point where no one can destroy that empire, that vision, whatever you got going on. But best believe there's going to be 1 or 2 out of the 6 that are going to try and steal the idea. It happens in the music industry. It happens in the music industry all the time. It's been years. Now we learn about it more because of the access that we have to the internet, Google, all the information that we have access to, the platforms where the victims themselves are putting their experience out. Before, we wouldn't have access to it because there was no Instagram, no Facebook. I'm talking about before that, where you're able to broadcast all the way across the country or the nation. You know what I mean? Like internationally. We have YouTube now. You put up video on YouTube, everyone has access to it, with or without an account. So the message is going to get across. But it's a dirty business out there. And that's how life is. Hey, listen, how many of us have gone through situations where we've been with people and you have your own homegirls or your boys trying to get at your partner? We're not only talking about career here. It's just everything. It's a dirty world out there. It's a cold world. It's a cold world.
Why you think, as an example, why do you think that there's tabloids and stuff like that they go and leak information, and people, you know, you have these people like,
yeah,
yo, who put that out? Who knew that? And a lot of times it's the cousin that they had, it's the brother or the sister. Sometimes it's been their own parents who is like, somebody comes in and is like, you know, sometimes they're not even approached, but sometimes somebody comes in and is like, yo, if you can give me some information. Or sometimes they already know, oh man, if I can let them know about this, I wonder how much they'll pay. And all of a sudden, all they got to say is make a call, send an email, and be like, yo, I've got some information on so-and-so that I know that you're going to love. How much would you pay me? Because there's a lot of people out there. They don't even, all they need is the access to you. They don't even need you to talk. All they need is the access to you, and they'll be observant enough to stab you in the back. Some of you, we don't even need to go to like tabloids or celebrities. Some of y'all have had stuff go down at work that you're like, yo, how did they,
it happens all
how
the
did
time.
they realize?
It happens.
And it was somebody that you trusted who opened the big mouth. And you got to think, why did they open their mouth? Because they were looking out for number one. They weren't looking out for you.
Yeah.
They were looking out for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. I've seen it happen at work. I've seen it happen with families. I've seen it happen, like you said, somebody trying to take somebody else's girl. No, you know, he don't treat you right. She don't treat you right. If I was you, I wouldn't be putting up with that.
It's really a lot of
features
that we have nowadays, a lot of access, you know, that we step into temptation, right? A lot of us have in the past. There's probably a lot of people doing it today, but why? Let's just give an example. Like, you have platforms where you're able to wipe out messages, right? That's giving you a reason to, oh wow, why is that feature available, right? So sometimes we're humans, right? We make mistakes. There's people out there making mistakes, and this is why it happens. If they didn't want that, if they really cared about like humanity and stability and just healthy relationships in general, why are you putting features to hide messages or to vanish messages or to wipe out messages, right? If you're single, listen, enjoy your life. Just make sure you love and respect everybody. Don't hurt nobody. Make sure you maintain that communication no matter what, regardless of being single or not. Just keep that communication. But that we have all this access in front of us that we are tempted on a daily basis, right? Not many of us have control. You may see someone that's good looking right away. You just want to hit on them. Hey, let me see. You know, let me test this. Let me see if I still got it. You know, oh, you know what? Maybe a line or two won't hurt. I can just say hi. Yeah, hi can go a long way, and you never know. Hi can go a long way. You just never know. But the whole point is that we have to be extremely careful with who we come across, what we come across, and how we handle it, right? With everything that we've mentioned so far, sometimes, which this has happened to me, I can put this testimony out. We blocked our blessings. I blocked blessings because of what I've been through, the trauma. And I was just tired of it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just tired of people at the time, right? Because now I've learned to love people regardless, because I'm able to understand human behavior. I understand that we're not perfect. I understand that the hurt that I experienced in the past from others, most of the time, it's not even their fault, right? It's their upbringing, or it's the environment that they've stepped into that they see as right. So now they go ahead and put it on others. And I've been one to be on that side as well, where I've hurt that person, or I've disrespected that person, or this is what I knew, this is what I saw, this is why I behave this way, because I'm not gonna let you hurt me. I'm gonna hurt you before you hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta admit
Mm-hmm.
that. We have to accept why. We have to accept that we've been there as well. A lot of people aren't gonna say, hey, I've hurt people, I've done wrong. Not many are. Not many are. G.I. Joe wrote, information is power, and we tend to give the wrong people, too much of it. I agree. Bro, a simple compliment can
Facts.
turn into, yo, he's trying to get with me. And you know what? This has happened so many times.
Yo,
It happened
listen,
so many times
money.
in the past, because a lot of people get it confused. And of course, it's the world that we live in, right? I'm glad that DJ G.I. Joe brought that up, because it's funny. I was going to mention it a few seconds ago. How being polite nowadays does confuse people. It really does. And I've seen it. I've seen it because I don't care what age you are. I don't care who you are, how you look. I love and respect everyone. Real. I love and respect everyone. I am not perfect. There's things that I've gone through with people, right? But one thing that I don't do is hold grudges, which is why I'm able to love and respect other people. Is it overwhelming at times? Is it a little uncomfortable at times? Being around those people, or coming across them, whatever you want to call it. Of course it is, but you have to learn how to manage, because you're not going to be hurting people out here the same way they hurt you. You're not going to be disrespecting people the same way they disrespected you. You got to be different. You got to be better. You got to show, hey, look, I know this happened, but that doesn't mean that we can't stand each other, or that doesn't mean we're going to kill each other, or that doesn't mean that we're going to disrespect each other. No. Hey, if we feel uncomfortable, then it's okay. There's things that we won't talk about. There's things that we won't talk about. Some of us are dealing with these things today. Some of us have to stay away from certain people, because you never know what their intention is. And that's the world that
Yep.
we live in. That's the world that we live in. So we can't be paranoid. We can't be like, oh, I've gone through this in the past and I'm not trying to go through it again. Or, I sense this person is behaving just like that other person that was being super fake, and I'm not going to let this person use me. No, definitely don't let this person use you, but hear them out. That doesn't mean that they're going to come over to your house, right? This is how you set limits. No one deserves to be in your house. No one deserves to be in your studio. No one deserves to be in your personal space in general, not even in your car. For those who are able to be at a bar, hit the bar up, hit a restaurant up, public space. You can meet up with those people. They'll know. They'll get it. They'll see that they're going to have to earn. They're going to have to earn your personal space. They're going to have to earn your mind, earn your heart, earn the good intentions that you have for others. They're going to have to earn it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when you make it tough for people to have access to you, trust me, you'll be surprised at people that get desperate. And they're going to remove themselves from your life. They're not going to come at you asking you for an opportunity. They're not going to come at you asking an opportunity in general, you name it, whatever it is. For whatever it is. How a man or woman, DJ G.I. Joe, once again, how a man or woman reacts is really what represents them in that moment. Our reactions most times are remembered the most. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Going back into that too, a lot of times that's why you need to be very careful with what you say, how you approach things, and everything like that, because again, your intentions might not even be bad. But the thing is, most people who cheat did not go into it thinking that that's what they were going to do. You know what I'm saying? It just started with a little comment, or somebody gave you that comment, and like he said, you react, right? The reaction. And sometimes the reaction is very much what makes you be like, yo, hold up. Somebody's paying a little bit of attention to me, you know? And there goes a comment back. And next thing you know, that comment back and forth, boom, that leads to other things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's just you entertain the thought. But here's the thing. If you make a comment that you know that, like you said, some of y'all call it your gut instinct, right? It's the Holy Spirit trying to let you know, like, yo, don't even go down that avenue. Like, don't.
So many times.
The reason why you know not to is because the moment you do that, you crack a door slightly open for the enemy to go in and get to work. He's just waiting for you to slightly open the door. I don't know how many of y'all, you know, have ever seen a movie like a thriller movie or something like that, where maybe there's somebody in the chase or whoever, right? Some of y'all maybe with horror movies you've seen, you know, I'll say it, I used to watch them back when I was younger, you know, before I came to Christ and all that. And it would be like, you know, you'd have that person that was curious. Like, did they go away? Are they going to come after me? Right? And all they would do is slightly open the door, slightly open the window, slightly do something. They didn't never do anything all the way. It was always like, I'm going to just open this a crack just to kind of peek through, right? And that was always enough to let the enemy in. That's real life, though. Somebody goes and pays you attention, and you're like, oh, I know I shouldn't, but let me holler back real quick or whatever, you know? Everything in your life, all the enemy needs is a crack open. He will kick that door down because he knows already that's all I needed. The fact that you were willing to open the door just a tiny bit with that comment, with something, that is enough for me to know I can press into this and see if I can watch you fall. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall. And if you go and you ask the people that have fallen into that temptation that they have, the majority of them will tell you, if you say, yo, well, what happened? Was this, you know, what's going on? What were you thinking? They'll be like, I don't even know. This wasn't in my plans. You know what I'm saying? It just happened. I'm telling you. And sometimes I'm telling you, man, you know, it's spiritual stuff, man. Sometimes I've even, you know, seen instances, and this is why they tell you, some people have gone to go pray for somebody, like, you know, man on a woman, woman on a man, whatever. And it's been a thing of like, I'm going to go and pray for this person because apparently it's something good. Bruh, unless you bring him back up, even that you think might be a good thing, God will be like, no. But you go in there, no. I shouldn't go do, you know, what's the big deal? Yeah, I've seen people that go over to somebody's house, just console them real quick. The story is history from there. That was all that was needed. That was all that was needed. Better be
and
checking.
It's crazy. DJ
Better be checking.
It's also okay to not allow people to ever sit at your table again. That's not a grudge. That's protecting yourself from the poisonous people out there. I agree 100%. There's no reason for anyone to be to deserve your presence or for them to be there wherever you are, right? Which is why we remove people from our lives or we remove ourselves, right? That's the only way we have control. If we're able to remove them, if it's through communication or not even communicating any longer, just cutting it right there, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Or if you just have to stay away, you know, that's constant over here on this side, man. It's like when you get these phone calls, you know, now when you really get the phone calls, when, you know, people see that they can't really get you out, you know, they hear that you're going through it. Everybody wants to hit you up because they're like, all right, we're going to get that old Jay Mejia back when we used to hang out all the time. Now he has all the time. Nah, there's still responsibility. There's changes that need to happen, and there's no way I'm going to take steps back. I got to keep moving forward. I got to continue to grow. I am not going to step into a situation just to cope with whatever I'm going through at the moment. No, there's other ways to do it. I'm okay with being lonely. I'm okay with being by myself, right? I'm okay with just doing that. Being careful with who I bring into my life, being careful with who I keep around, being careful who I give access to. I'm okay with that. I don't need anything else, right? The right people are going to come along. There's going to be someone that's going to come with a great idea. There's going to be someone that's going to most likely go through the same thing you go through on a daily basis, and you're going to maintain that connection. It doesn't have to be every day, but it's going to be every few days. Hey, what's up? Checking up on you, bro. How you feeling? Everything good? Cool, cool. Yeah, I see what you got going on, man. That's beautiful. Good luck with that. You know, it's that simple. You're going to meet the right people. You're going to grow with the right people. It doesn't mean that you're going to be merged and doing the same thing they're doing. It might be separately, but you'll be on the same page. You'll have a little support system. You have a little support system. So I agree, DJ G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, for sure, I agree, man. The guilt will, did I read this? I definitely thought in that before it hurt me more in the long run. I believe that was something you were saying, Pastor Carlos. I did remember when he did comment that the guilt will hurt longer than the pleasure from being weak in that moment of temptation. Yes. Yes. And it's always, I'm telling you, man, our mistakes and our errors, right? There's some decisions that we make are going to usually be long term, man. It's a long term thing to reverse, right? Or to make right. It's never going to be something that's going to be a quick fix, right? Sometimes there's things that I've said to people and that I've done that you can't even fix, not even with sorry. And you got to live with it, right? But as long as you're open and you do admit and you really mean when you apologize, you will be forgiven, right? But sometimes you'll be dealing with that consciously. You'll be dealing with it, right? Some of us have it's in our subconscious, right? There's a lot of things that we disregard. But then from time to time, things come back. This is why I have no shame, man, discussing these details. I have no shame. You know, there's things here and there that through time you'll get to know more. Through time you'll get to know more. But I wear my heart on my sleeve. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like for real, I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I've learned to feel comfortable with that. It's okay to do that, right? Because the more people know, the more they understand, the more they may be, it may be of help for them to change, to not feel ashamed, right? To not feel ashamed, because I've been through so much, and I'm not the first, and I'm not the last. But I'm gonna tell you right now, there's very few people that discuss their experience, that put their testimony out. There's very few people out there, and you don't deserve to suffer. Nobody deserves to suffer. No one. No one deserves to suffer. Today's episode is about moving forward, right? Are you accepting your life, or are you leading your life? Are you going to step out of that situation that you're in? Are you going to change how you're feeling? Are you going to work towards changing how you're feeling? And there's many ways for us to do it. There's many ways, you know, and big bro, something that's been going through my mind, I think eventually what we need to do, and I'm just going to say it on the live, you know, usually we wait to discuss these things, but I won't stop thinking about it. And it was on the live. It just started building this support system. Yeah, we have the platform every Thursday, but I think eventually we'll need a bit more access, maybe to keep in touch with people where they can actually have, you know, discuss how their week has been going, how their day's been. If there's anything that they want to go ahead and discuss with someone in specific, they have that chat or one-on-one session, whatever that is. I feel like that's something else that we need for us to grow in all areas of our life. Because like we mentioned briefly in multiple episodes, sometimes we don't have the right people around us. But thank God for technology. Thank God for this platform. Thank God for all that's been taking place, that we're able to come up with these ideas. We're able to start building, that support system, the different ways to help each other get through, Because, okay, we're connected today, but what about Monday through Wednesday? What about Friday through Sunday, right? Which is why we always encourage people, feel free to DM us, feel free to email us, feel free to just send a message, reach out, because when you least expect it, we are available.
Yeah.
We are available. I mean, we know what it is to be in a dark place.
And yep. And if you're not following my account yet, please go ahead and do so, because at least on this end, there's something major going on next month that's like will help to make things a lot more accessible. And if you want to be on, if you want to be in the know of what's going on, you want to make sure that you're aware. So next month is going down. So you need to make sure that you're following, because this will be something that helps you get through the week, not just with the 1 day thing, but essentially like little bro just said, throughout the entire week, I mean, essentially you're going to have on demand, to some extent, and on top of that, let's just, to make it as vague as possible, let's just say that you'll have connection and content to get you through more than 1 day out of your week. I'll keep it that basic. Again, it's touching upon things that you and I have already discussed during this live, but you need to know when to put your plans out, who to put your plans out to, what God is wanting to do, and all that stuff. It's all for a reason, and it's not time yet to go and put it on blast, but we're getting there. So if you haven't followed already, make sure that you follow. That way when that hits, y'all are aware of what's going on.
That's right. And that's C Chanlatte, CCHANLATTE, C Chanlatte. If there's anyone that wants to go ahead and join the live, or we'll go ahead and look out for any more messages.
Yeah, and I want to give a thanks to little bro here. Again, you guys have the opportunity.
Yeah.
If you want to keep it anonymous, hit that button right here. That's your question mark in the bubble. That will keep it anonymous. Jay Mejia will receive that. Okay. And he will not tell people what you're writing, that it's coming from you. If it's something that needs to be on the low without nobody knowing, that will come out without mentioning your name. And if it's something where it's like, a little bit more sensitive, maybe we reach you afterwards, if depending on how the request is given. Of course, you can always DM us,
the paper
right?
plane, yep.
Bam, right here. Little paper airplane. And if you got something else that you want to say, you got the big comment box right here. Just go ahead and write. You can put your testimony out. I want to give thanks to little bro. Like you said, little bro, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You're very transparent. I do the same. A lot of times, I've seen the power of how people are like, yo, I really felt like I really feel that there's something, a transformation happening. And a lot of times it's because when people get to realize that, like, yo, you go through it, you're flawed, you've made mistakes and all that stuff, and God still uses you, it opens up their eyes to like, hold up, that could be me. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give you thanks, little bro, because you put, you put that testimony out there. I do the same. I want to give thanks to DJ G.I. Joe, who's been real active here in the comments today.
Big time.
Because ultimately, I mean, those comments are testimony. It's somebody telling you, like, yo, what's being spoken about today, what the Lord wants to talk about today, I've been through it. It's real, because you get to hear Jay Mejia's walk of life and how it's gone through. You get to hear the word that backs it up. I might come in and give you something on my end where I've seen it happen. And now you're getting somebody else that just, corroborates the exact same thing from their walk of life. But at the end of the day, no matter how that has impacted you, it's not about the negative impact that that situation has. It's about the fact that I'm still pushing through. I've realized that I'm flawed. I've realized that I make mistakes. I've realized that all of this is going on, right? But the biggest realization that you can have is that God has a whole lot more to say about you than that. You know, somebody that I listen to, whose music I listen to in the Christian community, put something great out there in one of his songs, which is, you know, God has more to say about your story. You know, what's happened in your life, there's no period at the end of it. There's no exclamation mark at the end of it. It hasn't been written yet. You know, you got ... afterwards. He has so much more that he wants to do. So it doesn't matter the flaws that you've heard. I could list for you 1,000,001 flaws that I've got. I can list to you 1,000,001 mistakes. Jay Mejia can do the same. DJ G.I. Joe's given a few instances of like, yo, I gave too much information to people, and the whole thing that I've been through in terms of like opening these doors and all that stuff. But the thing is, you come in and you say, but I know that there's more. Even in my mess ups, even in my mistakes, I want to let you guys know, even in all of that, there's somebody who gave his life to redeem you. There's somebody who gave his life so that you could be redeemed and ultimately do great things. So he can be glorified. So he can say, you know this one over here that you wrote off? You know this one over here that everybody had a comment to say because of that mistake that she made, that mistake that he made over here, that dumb, decision would appear to be foolish. I wasn't done with them yet. I want to show you I could turn the whole thing around. Because, man, if Jay Mejia, I'm sure, were to tell you the laundry list for him personally, if I was to give you the laundry list of me personally, bro, I don't know how many times I've heard people, and this is not to big myself up because I really don't care. I don't try to glorify myself in any way. To God be the glory. You know what I'm saying? It's not about me. But, bro, I've heard so many people be like, man, Jay Mejia got such powerful words to say. Oh, my goodness, the anointing that Pastor Carlos has. Oh, my goodness, this message was fire, blah, blah, blah. If you knew the past, mistakes still in the present, but for you to understand it, on our end, we just say, I'm messed up. I'm messed up. But do what you want. Bro, that's transformative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. That's what changes people's lives. And I know we're going to see people's lives change, bro. And some of y'all that some of y'all that have testified before, that have given this testimony, that have shared, you too, I'm telling you, you're transforming lives. And I give you thanks for real for sharing, because you don't have any idea how much that impacts people's lives. So, continue pushing through.
I like that. You never know where someone is in their own timeline in life. It's best not to judge. I agree. You just never know. You never know. And with that said, for anyone going through it out there, you got to turn pain into opportunity. Turn whatever it is that you're going through to fuel, into fuel for motivation, right? To inspire others. It's okay. Life ain't perfect. You're not perfect. You're going to move forward. Where you are today, that's not your final destination. I continue to say the same thing over and over. That's not your final destination. You will continue to grow. You will break through. You will help others break through. Believe it or not, there's people that look up to you, and there's people that aren't going to tell you. You know, something that I learned is that there are very few, right? We're never going to know who's who, but the people who are waiting for you, or who are trying to destroy you, will eventually start looking up to you, because even that couldn't take you down. Why? Because those desires, negative desires that they have towards you, it'll go right back to them multiple ways. Well, are we happy about that? Of course not, right? Because we really don't wish the worst on other people. And we have. I'm sure we all have in the past, because I have. But you never know who's going to start looking up to you. There are people who are cheering for you today, and there are very few people who aren't, but eventually they will cheer for you. There's people that are going to support you today, right? We know this saying here, this a lot of people say this. We've always come across this, where there are people that are supporting you today, right? But not until strangers support you. Your friends and or family are going to start supporting you. And eventually, they'll see the real you. They'll see who you are. They'll see how transparent you are. They'll see how you made it through, how successful you are. And that's when people start to ask, how. They start to seek the how. How can I do this? How can I get through? I'm tired of feeling this way. I want to be happy again. Your story has a great impact on other people. Even if you think it's negative, there's nothing negative about your story. There's a lesson in the negative. There's a lesson in those bad days. There are many lessons in that dark place that you may be in. But once you get a full grasp of that lesson, the outcome is going to be major. There's nothing that's going to stop you. There's nothing that's going to stop you. The enemy is going to eventually realize this. The enemy never tends to fail. They continue with the attacks, trying to think about how to do it. How can I get to this person? What can I do to cause damage, delay? But as long as you're not focusing on that, you're just giving your time, your energy to what's in front of you and not what's behind you, that's when you'll start to see the improvements, the change, growth. That's when you'll start to see that it's been your focus all along. It's been what you've been giving your time to, your energy. Once you start setting those limits, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. And it's not an easy path. It's definitely not an easy path. It's definitely not an easy path at all, because when you decide to change and you decide to do things different, it's not going to be easy. The attacks are going to be much stronger, much greater, but you have to accept it, because the more you go through, the stronger you become. There's people out there that cannot handle that pressure. They can't handle that pressure. The more they go through, the weaker they get. But why? Because they're not having these conversations. They're not hearing these testimonies. They're not exchanging the different experiences and the situations and testimonies in general. But once you give someone some motivation, once you give someone a reason to live, once you give someone light in their darkness, you're saving them. It could be through simple words. It could be through a gift, a dollar amount. be through finance or verbally, best believe you're saving people out there. The conversation we have, DJ G.I. Joe, once again, G.I. Joe said the conversation we have with the right people is, to me, the most important thing to do. Yeah, that's right. Because it's never really a waste of time.
Yep.
It's never really a waste of time. We learn so much about each other. We learn so much of, wow, by having this conversation today, look how far that got. Look how my mind shifted. I was feeling so negative today, but I'm back on the positive path. Let me do it different tomorrow. There's been many times when I've come across, man, I look back in the past and I understand why, because of fear and shame, I've lost out on many opportunities and blessings because of fear and shame, because of how I was feeling in the moment, because of whatever I was holding inside. We don't do that nowadays. Not no more. Not no more. But we got to push each other. We got to help each other. We got to support each other. Make sure that we're mentally stable, emotionally stable, because we're all we got. Believe it or not, we are all we got. And we got to take our time. We have to accept that people come and go in our lives. We have to accept that there are always going to be changes. We have to accept the season that we're in at all times, whether it's good or bad. If it's bad, I am here to learn my lesson. I am here to gain more experience, to become stronger. This way, you're well prepared for the good season, and we can do things different moving forward. Because if we don't go through a situation, or if we don't go through it, how are we going to build and grow? How is that even going to be possible? How are we going to put value? How are we going to be grateful for what's ahead? How are we going to know the difference between good and bad? How are we going to know the difference between just so much that we learn? It's just so much that we learn from these moments. And that's what life is made up of, ups and downs. It's made up of moments. If there wasn't any moments, then what is life about? What is life? It'll be boring. It'll be super boring. Even if things go great all the time, you're never going to learn. Eventually, that blessing is going to come to a stop, right? If life is great and you never experience hardship, how are you going to put value on those good moments? How are you going to be grateful for them? So we have to be extremely grateful regardless. The simple fact that we're here engaging, we're here interacting, we're here on this platform, we're having this discussion, whether it's through message or we're able to make it different tomorrow. What can I get from G.I. Joe that's going to make it different for me tomorrow? Or vice versa. Or what can I get from Pastor Carlos? What can Pastor Carlos get from me? What can Sally, Glennie, anybody that's on with us? What can we get from each other to help each other move forward? Because I know we don't want to leave anybody behind. We definitely don't want to leave anybody behind. With what we got coming, we don't want to leave anybody behind. But most importantly, whatever others receive from us, we want you to give to the next. We want you to help the next person. This is how we spread the awareness, spread the love. Also understanding that you must, G.I. Joe, once again, also understanding that you must come to terms with accepting not only the good, but also the bad. Once you accept the good and bad, fear is eliminated. I completely agree. It's something that I've learned in the most recent years. In the most recent years, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I've known this. No, in the most recent years, it's been amazing. because fear is no longer in my vocabulary. And the second that there's a negative thought or fear tries to get into my routine or into that season or stage that I'm in, I know how to eliminate it immediately. G.I. Joe also said, I will tell you my story about a plane ride one day on one of these lives. For sure, man, we'll be more than happy to have you. I just learned this on a recent plane ride. Wow. G.I. Joe, whenever you're ready, bro, on my I did see the pictures. He was in El Salvador. I did see pictures and a few videos that you put up. So definitely, man, we'll be looking forward to hear from you.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, that'd be dope.
My man brought up El Salvador, man.
Dope.
Shout outs to President Bukele, man. I just want to give him a quick shout out. You know, I do that all the time, right?
All right.
The man.
Yes, sir.
So.
Nah, but on the real, man, once you eliminate that fear, it's a night and day difference.
For sure. Man, I really appreciate everyone who connected with us today. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Appreciate everyone who engaged. Appreciate everyone who gives us the feedback. For those who drop comments, really appreciate you all. You have no idea. Without you, this platform won't be the platform that it is today. And we continue to work hard to continue to grow, to build, to do so much more than just a live, believe it or not. And with time, you all get to see it. You all be a part of it, obviously. And really looking forward to eventually connect on a much greater mass. And I know that's coming. You know, it's a lot that I'm working on my end. A lot that I've been planning for. Definitely a lot going on, but nothing that's going to stop us from what God has planned for us, you know. Jael, bro, thank you both for your obedience. God bless you. God bless you, Jael. God bless you for being on with us on a weekly basis. God bless you for even being with us when you put out your testimonies in the past. Major. That's major. So really appreciate you, and God bless you. Let me see, did we miss anything else? While we wait just a few minutes, I think you're muted, big bro. You're muted. Okay.
No, we caught everybody. Looking here at the, I've been keeping up. We
link
caught
in my
everybody.
Bio. Make sure to check the link in my bio. Take a look at the links that I have there. I have my YouTube channel. I have our YouTube channel, where you can catch all the episodes from every Thursday, which is shortly uploaded to YouTube shortly after the live ends. Check out the link. I do have my clothing brand there. Please check it out. There's so much more that's coming ahead. I do have 2 links all the way in the bottom, which is an emailing list and text messaging list for when we transition over to YouTube. Make sure you drop your phone number and email. This way we can send out the notifications. We promise no spam. It's going to be strictly to notify you for lives or any activities in the future, just to keep you notified with what's taking place with the platform. So take a look at the bio. Make sure you follow C. Chanlate, Pastor Carlos. Follow him. Really appreciate everyone. Please, a reminder, we are on every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. For you to get notified, I do have the scheduled lives a week prior. You'll see the notification right below the profile, the date and time. If you click on it, you'll get notified 3 days before the first 3 notifications. 3 days before, 2 days before, and the day of. So make sure you click on the reminder. This way you can get the notification. Please be able to share these notifications. You're able to share the live whenever you're on the live, listening in. You have the paper plane. You can send it via direct message, DM. This is strictly through Instagram. But you also have now the option to send it through text messaging, through email, family, friend, associates that you feel they can receive a good message. They can be a part of the live platform in general. Please make sure to share. Please share. And I once again want to thank everyone who has been engaging, who's been really appreciate that. Big bro, anything else you want to say before we get disconnected?
No, over here everything looks good, and again, thank you not just to DJ GI Joe who's been sharing tonight, but again to everybody who's been connecting with us, who has shared testimony, who has shared what God is doing, who has shared things about their past. We've had people sharing things about their past. All of this, we've been seeing it more and more and more. It's building up the story. It's something that's glorifying God because they're able to say, yo, I went through this. I'm seeing where I'm at now. I can see the change. And some of y'all are even hearing about the people's difficulties and like, yo, I've gone through this and I paid the price. I've gone through these different things. I've had long-term effects for temporary people, for what, for the decisions that you've made. And we're on, I want to repeat it one more time for y'all. We are this close to seeing God turn it around big time for a great deal of people. There's a lot of darkness out there right now, and God is getting very close to turning it around so he can be glorified. And all these stories and everything that we've been hearing, all these difficulties that people have been going through, it's going to come to a point in which when the stuff happens, a lot of y'all are going to be like, yo, I remember this person and this person and this person and that person over here. I remember all these different testimonies, and now I'm hearing about how God flipped it, about how people are being blessed, about how those blessings are not just upon me, but they're overtaking, and that's just his way of showing out. It leaves no doubt where it's coming from. And I know we're going to see great things. So I just give each and every one of you thanks for rocking with us, for sharing, for helping to build other people up. Me and Jay Mejia, I mean, we can help to build you guys up some, but when you guys help to share and build each other up, it's priceless. It's major. It's life-changing for a lot of people. And we give you thanks for changing other people's lives along with what God is doing with us in the obedience. And there's much more to come. And there's big things to come. And I can't wait for you guys, I know on this end to be able to share with you guys from me personally. And I can't wait to hear what you guys have as well. So, just for real, God bless you guys. Continue to push forward, continue to press through, because you're not that far from seeing what God's about to do. So God bless you guys, seriously. And again, giving you guys the encouragement. A lot of you guys have taken us at our word. DM us, please. If you have moments of weakness, if you're going through difficulty, if you need prayer, if whatever it is, you have people that are legit wanting to listen to you, legit show you love, legit want to see you do good, legit want to see you blessed. Do not hesitate if you feel the need to reach out. You'll be pleasantly surprised that it's not just us that's going to meet there, it's going to meet you there. It's the Holy Spirit waiting to have an encounter with you so you can be like, yo, I was getting a whole lot more than what I was expecting. If you feel the need to reach out, don't hesitate, please. Allow us to be used to bless you. So
for sure. G.I. Joe, once again, nothing better than healthy conversation with people talking about their stories, failures, and achievements. Definitely. This is what this is all about. Yep. Appreciate everyone for tonight. This was episode 61. I hope you received. Remember to turn pain into opportunity. Pain into opportunity. We will be back on next week for episode 62. Episode 62 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. And always remember, just a
West
reminder, like
Coast.
I always do at the end of every live, patience is a virtue, and faith is the substance. Love and respect. Love you all, and see you next week. Don't miss out. Have a good night. God bless.
God bless all of you.